Hello, welcome to Math with Mr. Dobrescu to the rescue. How many of you are struggling with evaluating expressions? Well, if you're struggling with that, let's watch this video and I'm promising you, you'll get better in evaluating expressions. Let's take a look at this example here. We have an expression 2xy plus 3 times x plus y. And now we need to evaluate this expression when x equals 4 and y equals 7. What do you think should be our first step to evaluate this expression? What should we do first? Take a moment and think, what should we do to evaluate this expression? Now, since they are giving us this when x equals 4 and y equals 7, we are going to substitute these values. The values for x, which is 4, we are going to substitute this value into the x right here. And then we have another x in the expression right here. Okay, so this 4 is going to be substituted into this x and into this x. And now we are going to substitute the y, which is 7. We are going to substitute 7 for y in the expression. So that's our first step. Our first step would be to plug in the 4 for x and plug in the 7 for y. And when we do that, we are going to get rid of all the variables. We are going to just have numbers, multiply numbers, add numbers, subtract numbers, and we are going to get to the answer. Okay? Let's solve this. So we have 2 times, remember this is times between x and y and between 3 and the parenthesis. So instead of x, we are going to put 4 times, instead of y, we are going to put 7 plus 3, parenthesis, instead of x, we are going to put 4, and instead of y, we are going to put 7 plus 7. Okay? So as you see, we got rid of all the variables. And now we just have numbers. And we are going to combine this expression. We are going to solve this expression. Okay? What do we do next? If you remember the order of operations from one of my previous videos, parentheses come first. So let's do the parentheses first. Okay? So let's combine 4 plus 7 becomes 11. So we have 3 times 11. And here we have 2 times 4 times 7 plus 3 times 11. You see that the expression is getting smaller and smaller. Okay, so let's, obviously multiplication comes first before addition. So let's see what we have here. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times 7 is 56. Plus 3 times 11 is 33. And finally, we are going to add 56 plus 33. 56 plus 33. Let's see what we get. 6 plus 3, 9. 5 plus 3, 8. 89. So our answer is 89. I hope you're able to understand and make sure you follow these steps, right? First, we circle these numbers, right? The x and the y. And then we are plugging these numbers into the expression to get rid of the variables. And then we are going to combine the like terms and use the order of operations in order for us to get to the answer. Okay? So the answer is 89. Now let's take a look at another example here. And here we have negative 8ab. Remember, negative 8 times a and times b, that's what it means. And then we have to evaluate this when a equals 1 over 4 and b equals 6. I know many of you are going to struggle because we have a fraction here. And the majority of our students don't like solving problems with fractions. I didn't like that at one point, but now I'm getting better. Okay? We have a fraction, but that's okay. Fractions can be solved also. Okay? Remember, step number 1. Step number one will be to do what? To substitute a with 1 over 4. Remember, substitute a with 1 over 4. So we can draw the arrow to the a. So 1 over 4 is going to replace a. And then we are going to substitute b with 6. Okay? We're going to substitute b with 6. And then we are going to solve this expression. So we have negative 8. Instead of a, we are going to substitute 1 over 4. So times 1 over 4. And times, instead of b, we are going to substitute 6. If you are struggling with fractions, now is the time for you to take a look at this example and solve those fractions. Okay? So what do you do next? We have a product here. Negative 8 times 1 over 4 and times 6. So our goal is to get rid of this fraction and combine this expression and get a number. Okay? We see this 8, negative 8 times 1/4. This means the same thing as negative 8 over 1. We can rewrite that as negative 8 over 1 times 1 over 4 and times 6 over 1. But right now, I'm going to simplify those two terms right here. Negative 8 over 1 times 1 over 4. You see that 8 and 4 simplifies. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So we are going to have negative 2 here at the top, right? And 1 on the bottom here. And then negative 2 times 1, see, because these canceled, right? With this, right? Negative 8 times divided by 4 becomes negative 2. And then negative 2 times 1 becomes negative 2. And then we have times the 6. See, we got rid of this fraction by dividing negative 8 by 4, right? Negative 8 by 4. See, negative 8 divided by 4 becomes negative 2. And then negative 2 times 6, negative 12. Okay? Negative times the positive becomes a negative 12. That's our final answer. Let's take a look at another example here. And again here we have negative, actually 16 times a squared minus 4 times b. And we are going to evaluate when a equals 1 over 4 and b equals 6. Take a moment here, pause this video, and see if you can solve this problem on your own. And if you can find the answer, please type the answer in the comments. I really want to engage you in this process, into the thinking process of mathematics, by writing some comments in the YouTube video where it says comments, right? At the comments center, make sure you put some comments for me if you were able to get the answer. Okay? What do you think we should do first? Okay, again, you can pause the video and then let's solve this, right? Okay, see if you got the same answer. So remember, very important. First, we have to substitute 1 over 4 into the a, into the expression. And then we are going to substitute 6 into the b, right here, in order for us to get rid of the variables. Okay? So let's see what we get. So we have 16 times, instead of a, we are going to put a fraction, 1 over 4. And make sure you put to the power of 2. Minus 4 times, instead of b, we put 6. Okay? So we have 16 times 1 over 4 squared minus 4 times 6. Okay. Just make sure you can clearly see this expression. And again, if we follow the order of operations, we have to do the exponents first. We have to multiply 1 over 4 squared. What does it mean 1 over 4 squared? It means 1 over 4 times 1 over 4 squared means we multiply 1 over 4 twice. 1 over 4 times 1 over 4. And this is what we get. 1 times 1 is 1, and 4 times 4 is 16. That's it. 1 over 16. That's it. So we have 16 times, all this becomes 1 over 16 minus, and then if we multiply 4 times 6, we get 24. Okay? And now let's continue. And if you take a look here closely, you can see that this 16 and this 16 simplifies, because 16 divided by 16 becomes a 1. Okay? And then 1 times 1 is going to be a 1 here. And then minus 24. And if you are debating, if you got to this step and you are debating, what's the answer? Negative 23 or positive 23, right? Either negative 23 or positive 23. Which one is the answer, right? We have 1 minus 24. Think about this. If you're still struggling to get the answer here, if I owe you $24, right? Negative 24. I owe you $24, but I have $1 on me, so I'm giving you $1 today. Do I still owe you money? And the answer is yes. How much do I owe you? No. I owe you $23. So the answer must be negative 23. Okay? Not positive 23, but negative 23. Final answer. Let's take a look at another example here. And here we have a fraction to begin with, and then 1 over 4 stays, and 6 stays for B. 1 over 4 for A, and 6 for B. And again, you can pause the video, see if you can get the answer, and again, please write the answers in the comments. What steps did you take, and what's your answer? You can do that. Okay? Again, we are going to substitute 1 over 4 for A and 6 for B, and see what we get. So let's start from the beginning. So we have 5 times, remember this is times right here, 5 times B and 32 times A squared. Instead of B, we are going to put 6, 5 times 6, divided by 32 times, instead of A, we are going to put 1 over 4. 1 over 4 squared, and see what we get now. Okay, so we have an expression here. It looks complicated, but actually is not. First of all, let's take care of the numerator. 5 times 6, everyone should know that is 30, right? 30 for the top. And here on the bottom, we already solved this 1 over 4 squared in the previous example, and that becomes 1 over 16, remember? 1 over 4 times 1 over 4 equals 1 over 4 times 4, 16. Right? We got that. And let's keep the 32 in the front. 32 times 1 over 16. And now let's simplify the bottom here, the denominator, the big denominator. And we can see that 32 and 16, 32 actually divides 16. 32 divided by 16 is 2. And then 2 times 1 is 2, right? So that becomes 2 on the bottom. And on the top, we still have the 30, right? And now, 30 divided by 2, half of 30 is 15. 15, final answer. Okay, if you got 15, I will give you a happy face and A plus, plus, plus. Okay? Let me know if you're able to get 15 without looking at the example. If you're able to pause the video and get 15 solving this problem on your own. Okay, let me know in the comments. Okay, let's continue with another example here. We have one more example for you today. And this example is 12a plus b minus a minus 4. We are going to evaluate that, right? Remember 12 times a, that's what it means. And we are going to evaluate when when A equals 1 over 4 again and B equals 6. And again, many students are struggling with this because again we have a fraction here and we have some subtractions here in the parenthesis, and let's see if we can solve this without making a mistake. Again, you can pause the video, see if you can solve it, and if you're able to get the answer, please write the answer in the comments and let's see if we can solve this together now. Okay, so again, step number 1 would be, please don't forget, I always do that to keep myself organized. I'm circling that number, the fraction in this case, A equals that number, the fraction, and we are going to draw an arrow to the A. Do that anytime you evaluate expressions, because use this visual to help you solve the problem. Okay? And now from this bubble, we are going to also draw to this A, right here, negative A. And then we have the B now. Let's circle the 6. And we are going to draw an arrow to the B right here. Okay? See how organized and clear this is if we use this visual. Circle those numbers in the fraction and come up with an arrow to these variables A and B. And now let's solve the expression. So we have 12, okay, times, instead of A, we are going to replace 1 over 4, okay, 1 over 4, plus, let's open that little parenthesis. So now we have B, instead of B, we are going to replace 6, minus, instead of A, we are going to substitute 1 over 4, 1 over 4, and then minus 4. And let's see what we get now. Again, we have an expression now, but since we have the parenthesis, following the order of operations, we need to do the parenthesis first. Let's do this parenthesis first. And to make things simpler, we can first subtract 6 minus 4, okay, which is a 2, and then subtract 1 over 4. You see, we make this a little bit simpler for you to see. And then we still have the plus here, and here we have 12 divided by 4 becomes 3. And 3 times 1 is 3. This is so simple. This expression here, after we multiply 12 times 1/4, is the same thing as 3. 12 divided by 4 is 3. And now, of course, we are going to continue with solving this parenthesis here. So we have 2 minus 1 over 4. Think about this. We have 2 wholes, and 1 over 4 is 25%, right? 1 over 4. Okay? So if we subtract 2 and take away 25%, right? How much do we get? Okay? 2 minus 1 over 4, right? So 0.25, right? What do we get? 2 minus 0.25, we get what? 1.75, right? So 1, we get the 1, and then 0.75. Or another thing we can say, right? 1.75, or 1 and 3 over what? 1 and 3 over 4. Okay? This is the same thing. 1 and 3 over 4, or 1.75. And now we can continue with this expression, right? We have 3 plus, okay, 3 plus 175. And if we do that, we get the whole numbers. 3 plus 1 is 4, 4.75, 4.75. Or we can say 3 plus 1 and 3/4, and that becomes 4 and 3 over 4. Final answer. Okay? So if you got either 4.75 or 4 and 3/4, you got the right answer. And again, you get a happy face, happy, nice, happy face, and A plus, 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 and another plus. Because you guys are pros in solving, in evaluating expressions, even if it involves fractions. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video.